This is a recording studio.
No, it isn't. It's the office.
You're right. All right, here we go. Race family, guys, welcome back to another video. In our last video, I told you guys to... All right, this is a recording studio.
What is it?
What is it then?
An office.
All right, baby, let's make it happen. Let's make some magic. Race family, you guys are all the best, baby, and we're back with another video. In our last one, I asked you guys to write down a question you guys may have for us, and I picked the question with the most thumbs up, the most popular question, and the answer for you guys in our next video. I also said that by then, I'd have access to my fuel tech, and here it is, baby. It just recently came in. This and a box full of sensors and additional products. But anyhow, instead of answering one question, you guys had a lot of really good questions. So my wife had the idea of answering as many as possible. I think we're answering all of them.
I think so.
All right, so we're going to get right into it, guys. Our son is in the background. He may start making some noise any minute. So I hope we don't have to interrupt this video and we can just run right through it all. Leilani's here in the room, but let's get to it. What's the first one?
All right. Saif wants to know, he says, love your videos, brother. I'm 19 years old and I love to hear how people I look up to made it where they are. So could you tell us?
Nice. Guys, my wife is here carrying Ryder. We got both our kids here with us. We're going to do the best that we can to keep the kids under control and answer your questions. There's also quite a bit of questions, so I'm going to try to give you guys short and brief answers. If you guys want to know more on some of these, I guess, individual stories, we'll make another video where we go more into detail as well. We can do this once a month or however often. I don't mind at all. So the first question, brother, you're 19 years old. Thank you for supporting our channel. Thank you for the love and support. Thank you for commenting. We love it. Thank you for looking up to ourselves. The Supra, it means a lot to me. So let me see. I would have to take you back to when I was young. When I was 14 years old, I got with my wife, Erica. We were in middle school when we got together. And we actually just had an anniversary recently, and I posted a baby picture of us pretty much on social media. So if you guys follow us on Instagram or Facebook, you would have seen it. But we got together at an early age, and right away I was hooked on cars. I would always bring her with me to all the street races and the drag strip and all the stuff that we were into. She was there supporting me from the very beginning. We loved it together from the get. So it definitely makes me racing now a lot easier. And it's made creating the race family, right? Bringing my kids along with me to the racetrack and just the culture we're building. The fact that I've had her for so long has made it a lot easier. But aside from that, the Supra, I bought that when I was 21 years old. Just a few years ago, I really started falling in love with racing at the drag strip. So I got myself the enclosed trailer. I made some changes. We got rid of our big home that we had and we downsized our home to be able to have our cool motor home and have more flexibility with time to be able to go and attend a lot more of these races. Like in the last couple of months, we went to Florida 2K, World Cup, that race in Orlando. We're working on the Supra again now. So it's been a lot of stuff that maybe a couple years ago I couldn't have been able to do. So we've together structured our lives to be able to accommodate and have a lot more time for what brings us the most happiness, which is sharing our passion with you guys, racing, competing. This is what we love to do. I hope that answers your question. What else you got?
All right. So it's probably another heavy hitter, but Dennis Melville says, I've got a question. As a fantastic father and husband that you are, as far back as I can remember on the channel, I can't remember if you ever mentioned your father growing up and where you got your influence to work and race cars.
Yeah, no, it's a solid question. It's a pretty deep question, but I guess it goes good with the first one.
Yeah.
So my inspiration for cars, or I probably would have loved cars regardless, but who first introduced me to cars was my brother-in-law. So similar to my wife and I, we've been together since we were kids. My sister, who's 5 years older than me, and her husband now, they've been together since they were like, same thing, like 15 or 16. Like,
I think even younger.
Younger than us?
I think she was 13 maybe.
It runs in our family. So now we're talking about my side of the family. My wife's side of the family is the same thing. Her sisters and their siblings have all been together for a very long time. But anyhow, so my brother-in-law was into cars. He would do the exhaust systems on his car and intakes and this and that, and he's had multiple cars. He pro-charged the Mustang, or I think it was a Vortex. He did that. He introduced me to JC, like swapping cars. He had a Mark III Supra back in the day with a 1JZ, and He did an intercooler. He was progressively doing that. Eventually, he had a Nissan 240 with a 1J that I ended up buying from him down the road. He owned a Mark IV Supra before I ever did. So he definitely introduced me to cars. He was the first person to ever take me to the drag strip. Oh, we have a lot of stories together, man. I'll share a crazy one. One time, this is kind of off topic. One time, he was young. He was very young as well. He was learning cars. I was, at this particular story, maybe like 11 years old or so. We were changing the coil springs, right? The lowering springs on his Nissan Sentra. And we didn't have no fancy tool. He realized that if he took off that bolt on top of the shock, the spring was going to compress, or was going to expand and I guess explode away. He had me at 10, 11, no, I was probably 13 at the time. He had me hold the spring up against a fence while he took this bolt off. This spring shot back at me, hit me in the mouth, cracked my lip. But yeah, that's who introduced me to cars. Thank you for that, Manny. oh, I already lost the second part of the question. About my father?
Yeah.
All right, so my parents divorced when I was very little. My parents divorced when I was maybe a couple years old. My father is still in the picture. I still see him occasionally, but he's definitely not someone who introduced me to cars. I don't believe he's ever been on our channel, but he does occasionally watch our stuff. So, was that it?
Okay. All right. Next.
What else?
Next question?
I guess, yeah. Did I miss something in that question or no?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I guess he just said, as far as I can remember, I don't remember you ever mentioning your father. And he mentioned you being a fantastic father and husband.
Oh, that's right. I skipped that.
But hadn't ever remembered you mentioning your dad.
Guys, I pick up on one of the things and I get kind of sidetracked in stories and I lose some of it. So let me recap most of it. Dennis is someone like almost like family. Dennis has been supporting our channel from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, brother. And you have a beautiful family yourself. You complimenting me, and I guess what you guys see through the videos and my parenting or me being a father. Being a father is my greatest gift, my biggest joy. Like, forget the Supra, forget any accomplishment I've had with work, with anything. Being a father is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. So I'll make that clear. And then I kind of bounced around the question of my father in the picture. He's been there, but he hasn't really been there. It is what it is. My pops is cool. It is what it is, but he's not so much involved in my day-to-day life. He's never really been.
And he just didn't really have anything to do with your upbringing or why you are the man that you are and why you are such a great husband and great father. I don't think he had much to do with that.
Well said. All right. Next.
Okay. Next. Okay, so this one is from Angel Espinosa, and it says, okay, so translated to English.
It's in Spanish?
Yeah, esa trans aguantará el billet block.
Okay.
So
he wants to know if the transmission that's in my Supra now will keep up with the billet block. And my answer is heck yes. Guys, ATF Speed has been in our corner from the very beginning. ATF Speed do an incredible job building transmissions. There's nobody else I'd rather have on our team than those guys. They helped us do the impossible with our little Toyota box that I ran for a long time. And with the TH400, they got this TH400 behind 5-second 2JZ dragsters. They got it behind Pro Mods. They got it behind sky's the limit. My 2JZ will not outperform what that transmission can do. Not worried about that. ATF for the win, baby. If you guys need a badass transmission, call my boy Jason. What else you got?
All right, so Nathan Wave wants to know about your fuel system, if you're going to ever do a dual fuel system with meth and pump 93.
Yeah. So it's funny. Up to a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I had never even considered methanol fuel. Somebody else sent me a question the other day, I think like yesterday or 2 days ago on social media, also asking me about a 4-link suspension. That had never even crossed my mind. I know methanol is a great fuel. It's where I should be, it's where I should have been, it's where I should go moving forward. 4-link is far superior to IRS, but guys, I bought my car 11 years bone stock, and I've always enjoyed the journey. I'll build it a certain way, see what part gets maxed out first, upgrade that part, and just keep going and going and going. I'm not one to buy the biggest and baddest stuff, go for the biggest name brands, buy a turbo that can bring me to 6 seconds from the get. I enjoyed building the car to go 9s, building the car to go 8s and 7s, and now I'm searching for 6s. So I do things very progressively. However, to answer your question, yes, once the Supra's back out, it's very likely it'll be on methanol fuel.
Okay, so I don't know if you answered it in here, but Short Z says, I thought you had the best fueling for the car. You mentioned you were running out of fuel. What else can you buy to keep up with the fuel?
Yeah, I can add to that as well. So on our YouTube channel, I made a video maybe longer than a year, like 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. And I titled that video the evolutions of my fuel system. And I talked about starting with 2 little pumps in the factory tank, then going to 3. No, I had 2 pumps, and 2 pumps and a booster pump. Then I had 3 pumps. Then I went to my weld, and I've had 1200cc injectors, like 2000cc injectors, and 2600s. Now I have 2 sets of 2600s. My fuel system has continued to evolve. I now have enough injector, enough lines, fuel pressure regulator's fine, but the pump is the weak point. And again, look how far it got me, but now I have to either go mechanical or buy a more badass electric fuel pump, like a brushless electric fuel pump. So we'll see where we go from here. But again, likely whatever I'll choose next, eventually I'll grow in the future regardless, guys. So let's see.
All right. So now El Muchacho
let's go.
wants to know. So he said that you always use top tier products and, kind of pride yourself on doing things differently compared to everyone else. So he's wondering why the change to Fuel Tech.
Yeah, it's a great question. So again, if you would have asked me 3 months ago, and he dropped his pacifier. If you would have asked me 3 months ago, how long was I going to continue running AEM, or did I think of any changes in the near future, I would have answered no. I knew my AEM was outdated. I've had that computer for 11 years. When I bought it, I was told I made a bad purchase, and there was far better ECUs even then. So I knew I had outgrown the AEM, but I'm not one to really make changes till I'm absolutely through and through. And the other big thing is Lance. Lance is my tuner, man. Lance has gotten me this far. Lance has taught me so much. He's like family. Anytime I'm at a drag strip, he knows I'm there. We have great communication. He's someone that I trust. He's never led me wrong. And part of the reason why I chose Fuel Tech out of any other standalone is I'm bringing my boy Lance with me. Lance, Fuel Tech invited us to their headquarters, to their shop up in Georgia. They have a dyno there, a hub dyno. They want me to bring the Supra. I'm bringing Lance with me. They invited Lance as well, and we're going to throw the Supra on the hub dyno together, tune it together. So Lance, who has been an AEM specialist for many, many, many years, is now also making the switch to Fuel Tech, and he's going to be perfecting this program, being an awesome tuner like he's been for AEM for so many years, now with this program. And aside from that, I mean, Fuel Tech is just taking over, guys. Every race that I go to, all these races that I've gone to, Fuel Tech has had their support staff there. They've had people there. Their customer service is incredible. Just recently at PRI, they released their newest and greatest. So this is the FT600. Now in 2023, they got an FT, 700 and a 700 Plus. It's gorgeous, but these guys are at every race. They're really, really involved in the racing community. I've personally chatted with the man behind all this. Anderson Dick is his name. So he's the owner of Fuel Tech. He's the main guy in charge. Garrett has been a pleasure to work with. So many guys that I've already communicated with through Fuel Tech. I've heard nothing but good news. Obviously, the guys working it have great customer service, great products. At World Cup, all those 5-second imports that were there, those guys were all Fuel Tech powered. Sounds like there's a dinosaur in the room. It's just my 9-month-old. Guys, I was saying at World Cup, all those 5-second imports that were there, all the ones that I saw were on Fuel Tech. So this is definitely, in my opinion, the best path I could have chosen. So I'm very excited for this.
All right. So next question is from YouTube name CHRNC. He wants to know, when is the 4-link going down?
Oh, okay. I didn't even know I had that question. I think somebody privately messaged me that question. I didn't even know it was on YouTube as well. But again, has not even crossed my mind. I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna do it, because I never would have thought I would have got this far with my Supra. But I'm just absolutely hooked on racing. And I'll answer now like I did a few minutes ago. I do acknowledge that a 4-link suspension for drag racing is far superior to my IRS, but it's not something I'm even eyeing for now. I've never inquired on it. I've never even thought about it. It hasn't crossed my mind. My next goal is to go 6s on IRS. If I do it, which I'm gonna do it, it's just a matter of time. Once I go 6s, I want to say I'll be the 6th Supra to ever run a 6 with IRS. So let's do that. And once we do that and see how easy that comes, we'll continue to push. See how far we get with the IRS till I eventually can't go anymore, till I find that limit to where maybe the car's got enough power to where I'm just constantly spinning, or I'm struggling for traction, or the car runs great when all the stars align, but any other track I'm struggling. If we get to that point, then we'll continue to progress. But for now, we run the grandest ultimate IRS. I'm running that to the end, baby. See what happens.
All right, so next up, you have two people who kind of asked you the same question, Dupano Mayer and Jack McKenzie. So basically they said, what's your biggest goal for the car in 2023 other than running sixes?
Wow. I mean, we had a lot of hiccups this back half of the year. My car, if you guys have followed our channel from the beginning, I used to drive this car everywhere, give everybody rides, beat the crap out of it, and this thing would just live. But I've never ran it at this extreme power levels with a Pro Mod turbo and this level of abuse. But truthfully, it's what I'm enjoying most. I don't at all miss going to the Cars and Coffee, giving everybody rides. I'm glad I did that. That was fun for me at a stage of my life. But now my happy place is bringing my whole family with me and being at the drag strip, competing, running personal bests. That's all I care to do. So for 2023, I guess, like I was saying a minute ago, with the struggles we had this back half of the year, would be to, maybe now that I'll have a better engine management, more sensors, more data, just getting my program to live longer and attend a lot more races. I would love to go to as many races as possible, maybe races out of state, and just meet a lot more people that support our channel. That'd be really cool.
And caging the car better.
Was that part of his question?
No, but it is a goal for 2023.
Oh, Jesus, baby.
Of course.
Guys, yeah, I'm going to make a lot of changes to the car, man. I think these last couple of months of racing, I answered a really big question to myself. My car up to this point, I've always been focused on street. It always had to remain, it is a street car. It'll always remain a street car. I'm always going to have, for now at least, even the billet block that I ordered has water going through it. I'm always going to have an alternator. I'm always going to have a lot of these amenities, but I want to go fast down a drag strip. So things like the carbon doors or glass that don't roll down anymore, I don't mind one bit. The fact that I recently pulled the AC out of it, I don't care. I always shied away from doing the full roll cage with the halo, or whatever it's called, the hoop around the driver. I need that now at this point, guys. So I guess I caged the car just enough. I did everything kind of just enough in case I ever got tired of the drag racing. I could always return the car to just being your average car to go pick up the kids from school. But I'm past that. I don't really care to do that. I just want to go fast. So we are going to cage it more. I am going to pull more weight out of it. I am going to add more power to it. The goal is just to go as quick as possible, have it be as consistent as possible, live as best as I can make it live at those power numbers. I'm just thirsty for speed, race family. What else you got, baby?
All right, so Mr. 500 real wheel horsepower wants to know.
Let's go, baby.
Do you think you will ever see your daughter race the Supra?
So I mentioned in one of our previous videos, she's getting more and more involved. Like now when I'm in the garage, she goes in there. She's asking me questions. She's got this baby book that one of you guys, one of the race family members gifted her that's got car parts on it. So she'll go in the garage. She's like, this car part, like, what's it called? Where is it on your car? Where is this in the garage? And she's like identifying stuff. She knows the name of tools. She's really getting involved.
She's always, since very little, had a need for speed.
She loves speed.
She does.
Yeah, that's true.
And racing. Like, she always needs to be
She's very
number
competitive.
one.
She's very competitive. Yep. She's very competitive.
Like we'll be
really
on I-95 and a car will pass us and she's like, hello, you're losing. It's like, we're not even racing.
She tells us, she's like, oh, we're not the slow family, we're the race family. She wants us to pass everyone on the highway. She's competitive in everything that she does, and she really loves speed. That's true. So she might. I mean, her being old enough to race a Supra, that's quite a ways out, but I wouldn't rule it out. My little girl is something else.
Yeah. All right. So this one is more personal. Probably someone who knew you in high school, because his name is Julian, and he wants to know, why did you stop playing baseball in middle school and high school, he says.
Yeah.
He remembers you being really, really good and wants to know why you stopped.
Julian, what's up, race family? Again, thank you for supporting our videos. Yeah, I loved baseball. I was born in Cuba, guys, and my family brought me here when I was 6 years old. My wife stepped out. I was born in Cuba. My family brought me here just shy of turning 7 years old. In Cuba, baseball is really one of the main sports that was played. So I saw a lot of baseball being played. It's a sport that my family introduced me at an early age. The second we got here to Florida, they put me in a little league team when I was like 7 years old. And I played on all-star teams, on travel teams. I played pretty regularly through middle school. Then I got to high school and I played as a freshman, I played that first winter ball, the first couple of months of school. And I did well. I enjoyed playing, but my passion at that age, my true joy and love was racing. I enjoyed going to the racetrack on Fridays and on Wednesdays, and I already had a little part-time job, and I wanted to work to make money to save up for a car. And I don't want to, if there's young viewers, I don't want to like discourage you guys from playing your sports, or maybe you guys are watching this because you also love cars. Man, enjoy your youth as well. Enjoy your youth, enjoy your schooling events and all that stuff. But for me, I had my girlfriend at the time. I had, not my wife, but I had my girlfriend at the time. I had my little job. I got my driving permit right at 15. I had my first car at like 15 and a half. I was already going to the drag strip. So I think I missed maybe like a game or a practice or something to go racing. And they knew and they tortured me. I got back to the team. They were making me run with that bat over my head, do the squats and the this and the that, whatever it was. All these like torturous workouts. I was doing all that stuff. And then they would bench me for the next game if I missed. So that would kind of anger me, and then before long I would go to another race and miss another game, and I was in this cycle where I was going through all this torture just to get to the game, and then I'd get benched again because I had missed, and eventually I just stopped playing. And the funny thing is, my father-in-law was my coach. So Erica's dad.
So if you're watching, sorry, Dad.
So Erica's dad was my baseball coach, but yeah, man, I picked racing and doing that type of stuff over sports.
All right. Rod wants to know, are you going to do a drag and drive event next year?
So I've watched a lot of videos on drag and drive events. Like whenever they do one, I'll follow the Boosted Boys. I'll follow Cletus McFarland. I'll follow all the other YouTubers that I commonly race with. When these guys go to those drag and drive events, I watch it. I really enjoy it. The thrill of putting your car through that test is really interesting. Thank you, baby. Love you. A little treat. All right, so the thrill of putting your car through that test is definitely cool. I will do it at some point. It's hard for me to say, will I do it this very next year, because I'm not even sure how soon I'll have the Supra back out. I'm not even sure right now what the first event that I'll attend will be, or I haven't really set a calendar of races I want to hit up next year. So it's hard for me to commit to a drag and drive event, but at some point it will happen for sure with the Jeep, possibly with the Supra as well.
All right, so this one I thought was a cool question. I'd be curious to know how you'd answer it. It's from Perfect99. They want to know, if it hadn't been a Supra, what car would it have been?
I actually saw that question. I don't know. If it hadn't been a Supra, I'll mention some of the cars that I've had up to this point. I started with the Cobalt, was my very first car. Then I had a 350Z, and all these cars I would mod, but I would kind of see that they were kind of dead ends. I didn't really see endless potential with these cars. I was investing money into cars that were quickly depreciating, and I was realizing that as well from an early age. Like my Cobalt, I threw, I don't know, $4 or $5 grand into it, which to me was a crap load of money. Maybe a little more all in all, but I threw some money into that. Then I had my 350Z, same thing. I would throw 5, 6, 7, 8 grand into the car, and it meant nothing. The car was depreciating. It was barely making any power gains. I think after the 350Z, I started doing my 1JZ 240 project. But again, I was like 15 grand into that car at an early age, and I remember still having a huge list of mods that I wanted, and thinking, I'm 15 grand in, if I buy this other 8 grand worth of stuff, crap, I could buy a Supra. Back then, Supras were, I bought my car for $20,000. So that, I've had 2 Corvette Z06s, I've had a Nissan GTR, I've had a lot of cool cars over the years. I mean, if I was to build a car to this extreme, I would say it would have to be an import. I've had domestic cars as well, but I like the import cars more. So maybe a Nissan GTR would be a cool car. But truthfully, a Supra is what I'm most comfortable with even wrenching on. Or if I had a GTR, I probably would have a lot more shops helping me. With my Supra, I do it all myself. Or maybe a Supra project. If it wasn't my Supra, it'd probably be a Nissan 240 with the 2JZ, or something with the Supra engine would likely be a better answer. Yeah.
All right. So Damien wants to know how much, and this is a common question, how much did it cost to fully build the car?
Yeah. I don't know, brother. When I first started building my Supra, I kept every receipt. I still have it in my toolbox in my garage. I have like one of the drawers is filled with receipts of stuff that I was buying and buying. I would keep all these receipts in case I ever wanted to sell the car. I can show how much I had invested into it. So at one point, I cared for that stuff, and then I eventually just stopped caring. Because truthfully, for me to answer that question, let's say if you bought a Supra today and you wanted to build it to replicate mine, I can tell you exactly the parts that are in mine, and you save a bunch of money going straight to where I'm at, compared to doing it how I've done it. I've done it in stages. Like I mentioned earlier, I built it it was like 500 at first, and I made 800, then 900, 1,000. I just kept going up and up and up and up. So all in all, I paid $20,000 for the car 11 years ago. And in those 11 years, if I had to guess, I would not be shocked if I have spent over $200,000 in modifications over the 11-year mark. But again, a lot of those modifications have been, I've had 6 different turbos, like 4 intercoolers, 3 or 4 sets of injectors. So yeah, I've spent well over $200,000, but I'll buy the new turbo and sell the old turbo for something. I'll get the next one and sell this one for something. Like every time I upgrade a part, I don't just throw away the old stuff. I always give it to the next person in line. Someone else wants to buy it. So out of pocket, over 200 grand. Maybe I've made some of that back selling some parts. Maybe. I don't know. It gets expensive.
All right. So Johnny Stumbog wants to know what is the plan for the pallet of concrete mix in our garage.
No. Guys, a couple weeks ago I started building a tree house for Leilani. In our previous house, which was our big house, that was our dream house that we had. If you guys have been watching our channel for long enough, you would have seen that place. That's the house that we started our channel on. So in that house, we bought a playground. I think you bought it for Leilani. Mm-hmm. But we bought a playground for Leilani, and it came in like a semi-truck pulled up in front of the house, 3 or 4 huge boxes. There was like 1,000,000 screws, 1,000 pieces of wood. It was a nightmare. And we bought this during like rainy season, so we threw it in the backyard. We built like steps 1 and 2, and it would rain every day for like a month straight. So by the time we got back out there, the woods had all like reshaped. All the labels had gotten washed off. It was a nightmare. Building that playground was a nightmare. And after we finished it, I said I'd never do that again. So at this house, my wife and even Leilani's been wanting a playground or something for the backyard. So I told the wife one day, I can build her a cool tree house. We'll do like a tree house playground, and we looked up pictures online.
And we will have a treehouse series that will hit either Instagram or YouTube.
Yeah.
But
so at one point I'm like, yeah, I could build something cool like that around this cool oak tree we got in the back. And my wife's like, you're never gonna do that. I don't blame her. I have 0 carpentry skills. I have 0 carpentry tools. I got nothing to cut a piece of wood with. I don't have a nail gun. I got nothing. I don't have any, like levels. I don't have nothing really. But her egging me on a couple weeks ago saying, you're not gonna do it. Just stop lying to yourself. You're not gonna build this thing for her.
It worked. I got under his skin.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep that night. Next morning, I took the Jeep out of the race trailer. I went to Home Depot. I bought a ton of wood. I came home, and the base is already established. They're already sunk in the ground. So that concrete was actually gifted to me by the older gentleman across the street, Roberts. He gifted me 14 bags of cement to pour, I guess, down those holes to secure the legs of what's going to be the structure. So I can't wait to show it to you guys. It's going to be a good time. What else?
All right. So Jeremy says, are you still doing real estate?
No. Grace family. My wife has a real estate license. So I've always loved homes. She's got the license, but I'm always hooked online, looking at homes, comparing. Even us. This is our 4th home in like 8 years. We typically keep our homes for like 2 years, and I'll have my wife listed, and we'll buy the next one. We just keep flipping homes. So a lot of you guys as well always question how we have this motorhome or how we have some of our lifestyle. And I'll quickly touch up on that as well. Like, we've been fortunate to have bought our first home at a very early age when we were like 22 or 3. We were young. We were like 22, 23 years old. And the market was still relatively low. And within 2 years of living there, we sold that home for a profit, bought our next home that we loved. We did some improvements to the home, sold that home for a really big profit, went to what we called our dream house, which was huge. We paid $1 million for that house at the age of like 27. And we absolutely loved that house. We didn't pay for that cash. We gave a big deposit and we financed the rest. And that was a dream home of ours. But for me to be able to have the motorhome and travel and have the freedom that I have now, I couldn't keep living that lifestyle. So we did make some lifestyle changes, and we gave up the big home, but we sold that home for a profit. And so anyhow, real estate, she's the one with the license, not me. But yeah, we love homes and we love flipping them, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So that kind of goes into the number one question that there's too many to mention. How many asked?
I know what it is.
Basically, they're asked in different ways, but they all want to know what you do for a living aside from YouTube to afford this this lifestyle, this hobby.
For sure. Guys, so YouTube's my passion. I wish I could do YouTube, say, full-time or have tons of content for you guys. And I wish I can travel to every racetrack in the country or even out of the country. And I wish I can compete and just hang out. If you guys have met us at a racetrack, you guys know how I am. If you guys approach me, I immediately drop what the heck I'm doing. And I start just chatting up, answering any of your questions, sharing my car, sharing my passion. This is truly what I love most to do, is working on my car, sharing it, racing. I show you guys the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. But I do have a job. I do have a career. Now in March, coming up, it's going to be 10 years that I worked for the world's largest human resource company. So when I was 18 years old, by then, you guys would have already known, my wife and I were already together. We've been together since we were 14 years old. By 18, she got into banking. She started working at Bank of America. And I was working at a sub shop. I was making sandwiches in Palm Beach. And she was like, hey, I'm working at the bank. I see opportunity for growth here. You should also come apply. And I did it. I went and applied at the bank, and we were both killing it. Within a short period of time, within our first year, we went from tellers to sales and service specialists to bankers to, we were just going through the stages of working at a bank. The corporate ladder, I guess. And then shortly after that, while I was at the bank, I was there for like 4 years and change. While I was at the bank, the banks partner with merchant service specialists, with payroll human resource specialists, and my payroll human resource specialist that would come in, I instantly became really good friends with him. We're still great friends till to date. And I was really good at giving him leads and helping him, introducing him to business clients that he can sell payroll and insurance and all these services to. And eventually him and I in conversation, they offered me a job, and I made the change to leave Bank of America to come into the company where I am now. So for the last almost 10 years, I've been in sales. And a lot of you guys have asked me this question since we started the YouTube channel. This has been a popular question, and I've always answered it. So I've always said that sales allows you to work as hard as you want for the things that you love. The things, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. It's all depending on how hard you're willing to work for it. So I have a salary, but most of my money comes through commission. So how hard do I really want to afford that bill of block? How hard do I really want to afford a trip? I'll just work that much harder in the office. I'll get that many more accounts or clients, and it gives me that opportunity to achieve some of the stuff that we've done. So to answer that question, I am fully employed through a human resource company. I'm in sales. I help business owners with payroll solutions, insurance solutions, health benefits, so on and so forth. And that's what I've done for a while, and likely what I'll continue to do for the foreseeable future till YouTube hopefully one day blows up.
And it's a job that offers flexibility. You don't, you can work from all over the country.
I don't have a set schedule. As long as I'm producing, as long as I'm performing well for the company that I represent, I can work it from anywhere. I can hop in my motorhome right now and go 6 months to Texas and then race cars out of Texas, or just be out there. And I don't need to be in a set city. I don't need to be in a set area. I've grown it to where it is now, and it's very flexible for us. So we're truly blessed. It's allowed us the lifestyle that we have, and it's been good to us.
All right.
Was there more?
That was it. I hope I didn't miss any. I told him I didn't want to go on film because I'm not decent right now. No makeup, hair's a mess, but
she's beautiful. Grace family. This dragged out a lot longer than I would have liked it, but we wanted to do this. I've never done a question. What is it? A Q&A?
Yeah.
I've never done a Q&A here on the channel. I hope this answers some of you guys' questions. If these questions open up further questions, just write them down below, and whenever we have time, we'll stop and make another video. You come say hi, baby. Come here. She's been dying to get in here. Race family.
You know, somebody asked, is Leilani ever going to race the Supra?
Yes.
Yes?
What's the answer going to be?
Yeah.
You're going to do it? Papi will teach you. I think you can do it.
Is that something that you want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You like speed? Do you like to drive slow, or do you like to drive fast?
Fast.
I thought that's what we told them. We're like, she loves to go fast. Because we're not the...
Because the wind goes in my hair.
Oh,
The
the wind.
wind
She likes to
goes
go
in her
fast
hair.
because the wind goes in her hair. And we're not the slow family.
We're the race family.
We're the race family. Guys, I don't want to hold you up anymore. One love. Thank you guys for... We've been on YouTube now since Leilani was very little. She was under 1.
Mhm.
So maybe like 4 years or so on YouTube, part-time here and there, but you guys have been part of her journey. She was the baby on the channel, and now we have Ryder. What you gonna show them? Fuel Tech Baby. Tell them. Fuel Tech Baby.
Fuel Tech baby.
We got sponsored.
We got sponsored.
She's the best. Guys, catch you guys on the next upload. Lots of exciting things happening for Baltic in 2023. Can't wait to share it with you guys.
Yeah.
Peace. Oh, thanks, baby.
Wait. You want to open that, I think, on camera.
It's a box.
You joked me? Ah!
Another thing she got from you, aside from love for cars, is being a prankster.
Yep, that's my baby. You're silly. I thought you were giving me a real chocolate.
Does it feel like it?
It feels real. Later, guys.